at least it's morning here on my porch in Tanzania. Today we are going to do a yoga class on hips, both the inside and the outside hip. And one of the reasons that I usually teach this a lot, especially for people who do Jitsu or grappling, MMA, wrestling, is because the hips usually become very tight when we're doing these kinds of sports because we're always hunched very in together. So today we're going to focus on opening up that front side of the body, opening up the hips and trying to get into those hip flexors. So I think we're just gonna jump straight in. The first thing I want to do is just start cross-legged, and I want to start by moving my arms. So I'm just going to move my arms side to side to start to get into that lower back and the hips. And so I'm moving and seeing after a little while if I can put my elbows down into the mat. So I'm just going from side to side. My yoga is very dynamic, so I like to move a lot in my yoga poses. So I'm always saying when I teach, don't be afraid to move, don't be afraid to adjust. If you need to place your hips somewhere else or place your arms somewhere else so that you can actually find where the stretch is for you. And the more I'm moving, the more I'm seeing if that top arm can reach a little bit more across on each side. And seeing if I can really lean in to that lower elbow. If I have my elbow on the floor, if I'm up on my arm, that's fine too. Seeing if I can lean into it as much as possible on either side. And then from here I'm going to do the same, but just in a rotation. So I'm just going to rotate my hands from side to side, making a half circle, and then seeing how far back can I put my first hand and can I rotate all the way around, touching that hand. And how big can I make my rotation in the spine or in the lower back? And we're just going to do a few more. And then sitting up and coming back into center. From here, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to straighten my legs. And we're going to get really into those side hips or back hips. So I'm going to straighten my legs, and then I'm going to pull one of my legs and knees into a 90-degree angle. So I have 90 degrees, and then I'm going to do the same with the other one. But I'm going to place my heel on top of my knee. So I'm trying to make almost like a triangle inside of my legs, and I'm placing the heel on the knee, and then my goal is to close this gap. But personally, my gap does not close. Maybe some of you out there have really flexible hips, and it does. And then as you see, I'm just kind of lifting myself off. That's my personal preference. I'm lifting myself off the mat a little bit. And I'm just adjusting and moving. Maybe I'm leaning my weight a little bit forward. And I'm really getting into really both of my hips on both sides. This is one of my favorite hip stretch poses because it doesn't require anything. I can sit and do this if I'm watching TV or on my phone or on the couch. And then, obviously, your breath is going to help you. So if you're able to breathe down into your hips, and just relaxing, maybe doing small circles. Maybe I'm even pushing a little bit on my knee, seeing how far I can close the gap while my legs are aligned. And then I'm just going to release, and I'm simply just going to switch legs. So I pull my left leg in, put it across the mat in 90 degrees, and then place my other one on top. There is always one leg that is more difficult than the other. And then I'm just working on closing this gap between my knee and my foot. And then I breathe, see if I can breathe all the way down into my hips. Maybe I move in small circles again. Maybe I lift myself up a little bit, move and shift my weight to the front. And maybe I lean a little bit of weight into that front knee, seeing if it can get any closer down into my foot. Good, and then from here I'm going to release, and that front foot that I'm releasing, my right foot, I'm just gonna put it out in front of me, and then I'm just gonna circle my left leg to the back so I come up in a low lunge. I'm just gonna move so you guys can see me from the side. And I've just stepped into a low lunge. I'm gonna put both of my hands on the inside of my foot, and then I'm gonna take this foot that I'm standing on and just lean over into the outside of the foot. So I'm lifting off the lower side of my foot, and then I get to choose if I just want to push my weight forward and come into the inside of that hip. Maybe I want to do more and I want to lift off, which I can if I want to. If this is too much, I just put my knee down and I lift and I shift my weight forward into that front foot. And then I can stay here. Some people go down on their elbows here. For me, that's a bit much, especially in the morning. But maybe some of you at home can. And then I'm just moving around with that weight. And the more I'm able to align my back, so the more I'm able to actually stretch and look forward, the more I'm going to feel that stretch deep on the inside, like going down, almost going down my hamstring. And then I remember to breathe. Good, and then from here, I'm gonna take the foot that I have in the front, and I'm just gonna walk it. So I'm walking it towards the opposite side of the mat, and then I'm putting my knee down. We're gonna go into pigeon pose, and so some people are able to have their foot completely parallel to the mat. I'm not, so I usually pull my heel down a little bit, and then I lean into that front leg, and I'm leaning all the way down into the mat. Maybe I'm able to put my elbows down like I am now. Maybe I have to stay up. Maybe some people are even able to put their chest down. And from here, I'm just gonna relax. I can put my hands crossed and relax my head. And I'm just trying to find my breath. And seeing if that front hip can really release down into the mat. And I'm gonna do one last breath. And then we're actually gonna do a variation of pigeon pose as well. Because for some people, this can be very intense or it can almost be too much. So sometimes I also like to just, with the legs that I have in the front, I'm just gonna lean over and I'm just gonna sit my butt down. So I'm here, and then I like to adjust my foot so that it's parallel. You don't have to, but it gives you a deeper stretch. And then from here, I'm just gonna lean over this front leg as well. So I'm leaning here, maybe I'm able to lean even this way over my foot, but now I'm just leaning over my knee. So if you don't like pigeon pose, or if pigeon pose is too much, this is a very good variation that will still get you deep into that outside hip, but it's not as intense, or you can adjust it a little bit more. And then I'm really seeing if I can get my chest down to that knee, even if I can twist a little bit. So I'm twisting my front body over that leg and just relaxing down. And then when I'm ready, I come up and I just swing my back leg to the front of the mat. And then I swing the leg that I just had in the front, my right leg to the back. I come up and I'm into another lunge. Again, I put my hands on the inside of my knee. I can stay seated and I'm on my knee, or I can come up. And I come to the outside of that foot and I work my way, shift my weight into that front hip. And then really seeing if I can lean and push my weight into that leg. Maybe I want to do some small circles here as well. And then again, seeing if I can adjust my alignment. So I'm just gonna straighten my back, look forward. And like I said in the beginning of the video, don't be afraid to move. To find where is it exactly that your hip is tight, where you need to be. And then when I'm ready, slowly going to release my weight a little bit, and I'm going to walk this leg towards the opposite side of the mat. Maybe you're able to have it parallel to the top of the mat. I have to adjust mine pull my heel down a little bit. And I'm gonna come down and lean into pigeon pose. Again, if I want to, I can cross my arms. And remember to see if I can breathe into that hip. The more I can breathe into it and try and relax it so it doesn't feel like it's constantly pulling. And I always say if you're not able to breathe pretty calmly, or if you're not able to relax in the pose, then you've pushed it too far. Because your muscles are not gonna relax, like genuinely relax, if you're in a constant like pull in the body. You're tightening everywhere, you're trying to like really hold on. That's not gonna make your muscles relax. Those are two counterintuitive perspectives for the body, that I have to push into this position and I'm also going to relax. So if you feel that, you've gone too far. So maybe then try and adjust, put a little bit less weight and see if you can relax, stretch, take proper breaths. And then when you're ready, I'm just gonna come up and I'm simply gonna shift my weight back, sitting on this leg. I'm shifting my leg a little bit to the front and I'm working my way downwards towards that knee. As I said, if you want to, you can also work towards the foot. Or you stay, try and get your chest parallel towards your knee. See if you need to move around a little bit. And then when you're ready, we're gonna come back up. And I'm gonna again switch my legs so that I get both legs to the front. Now from here, I'm simply just gonna take my left leg, pull it in a little bit, and I'm going to put my right leg on top. So my heel is on my knee. Some people like to do this when they're lying down. I prefer sitting up, mostly because I can adjust more. So when I'm lying down, I have to pull around my leg and pull it in. I have to use a lot of power if I want to get a deep stretch. But here I can simply just move my butt. So if I'm moving closer, I can feel a deeper stretch. If I pull my heel a little bit further down, I get a deeper stretch. And I can also move. So I like to go side to side maybe, to really feel if I get into that hip. Maybe you just want to stay still. And the closer I get to my leg, the more I'm going to feel that stretch. I think I'm a very lazy yoga practitioner because I like all the poses that are, first of all, sitting. And second of all, that I can do, like, if I want to do something else, or like I said, watch TV, or when I'm on the couch, or if I'm reading something. Everything that takes like deep stretch but minimal effort. So this is that's why this is one of my favorites as well. And everybody who comes to my classes also know when I do yoga for Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, grappling, whatever. I only do restorative yoga, or I only teach restorative yoga. So only things that are, there's so many flies here, it's fly season. We're gonna switch legs. while I'm chatting away. Yeah, I only do restorative slow yoga, so this is not a time to push yourself really hard, or this is not your yoga workout, this is your yoga restorative. And I'm gonna adjust this leg and see where I wanna be. See if I wanna move. All right, and then when you're ready, we're just gonna release that leg. And the last pose that we're gonna do is happy baby pose. So I'm gonna lie down on my back, and then I get to choose if I wanna do just one leg or if I wanna do both. But I'm gonna have my elbow on the inside of my knee, and then I'm gonna catch the outside of my foot. And then from here, I can either straighten this leg or I can keep it standing on the mat. And I'm just gonna see if I can pull that knee down into my armpit. So I'm seeing if I can pull the knee down towards the mat. And then if this feels easy, if this is a pose that you've done before, I'm also seeing if I can tilt my pelvis a little bit down. So I'm tilting down into the mat so I get a deeper stretch into that inside hip. And I'm gonna breathe. And then when you're ready, we're just gonna switch. So I bring my left foot up. I have my elbow on the inside of my knee and I catch the outside of the foot. Adjusting if I wanna have the down leg stretched or put it into the mat. And then I'm just gonna let gravity do a lot of the work and just pull that knee down into my armpit. And again, I'm gonna breathe and see if I can breathe all the way into that hip and lower back. And then when I'm ready, I'm gonna release and then slowly just gonna come back up again. So that was our small class for stretching the hips. I hope you found maybe some new exercises or a new favorite stretch. And then I will see you in the next one. Bye.